Let's go! And live from the basement of the basement, Marver, have you found the window out of this place of WCPTA 20 in Chicago? This is the Sports Cubicle, where the inmates run the asylum, and the boss, we all know he's going to yell at us on Monday morning because we're working overtime. This is the fastest hour in sports talk radio and the latest hour in sports talk radio, so thank you for spending it with us tonight. Now let's get to our esteemed panel. I see him over there. He's watching the tape. He's the marvelous one, Dan Marver. What's up, Marver?
I'm trying to find the window. I don't see any window down here. I think, I'm glad it's not raining.
You keep watching the tape, though. I don't know what you're looking for anymore.
Well, this week I didn't watch the tape because I was getting my COVID treatment, as Coach Nagy would say.
And we got another one. He's normally in the studio with us, but today he's back home. He's the Paulacious one, Paul Chivari. What's up, Paul?
I'm stuck in the laundry room right now, and the washer's about to go on a spin cycle.
Really?
I'm so sorry. Has your wife not let you out of the laundry room? Are you locked in there like me and Marver are locked in here?
It's more of my panic room.
You know, you found our way out of the basement, Paul. How do the basement of the basement? How do me and Marver get out of here? And why didn't you grab us?
I don't know if you want to end up in the laundry room with me.
All right. And the guy who's never been in the basement of the basement, the lucky SOB, Sports on the Couch, is Mike Mercado. What's up, Mercado?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Chicago? You know there's always room on the couch for you guys if the basement is just too dingy. And, Paul, leave it to Paulie to be the selfish one and not invite us to the Casa de Chivari. What's up, Chicago?
We'll
you guys are more than welcome to help me with laundry.
I'm going to throw Mercado on the couch here. And guys, this is a very special episode of the Sports Cubicle because we can't be sad about the Bears losing today because they didn't play today.
Even better next week. They don't play at all.
Marvelous. No pun intended there.
Yeah.
But it's very nice. So the Bears are playing Monday Night Football against the Steelers tomorrow. And I don't know about you guys. The Steelers are banged up, but I still don't expect anything from the Chicago Bears tomorrow.
The Steelers are traditionally a good defensive team, and it seems, as I said last week, experienced quarterbacks seem to be able to find the deficits in the Bears' defense. So I expect that Big Ben will do so.
Big Ben, his star receiver, Juju, I hear he's still out for the rest of the season. So, but they're still in second place in the AFC North. So it seems like the Steelers are going to be – is there any hope for the Bears? Because even before I had no hope for this team. But against the Steelers, I don't see a win.
Well, we don't have Mac either. He's out for sure, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, very much. And especially a team, with, like you said, Big Ben finds his receivers or finds the holes in the Bears, and that's just – it's going to be the end here. And with this secondary defense just playing like a word I can't say on the radio, but I really want to, but it starts with dog and ends with a T. I'll let you use your imagination here. I think I don't even want to say the Bears are going to be exposed. I think we all know this secondary defense is garbage.
I don't think it's even
dogfight.
No, here's the thing though. Let's yeah, nice one, Paul. Let's be 100% honest about how this game is going to go. Devin, put it so eloquently that it is the secondary, and even if Juju is not on the field, you're still looking at Najee Harris, you're still looking at Claypool, you're still looking at Deontay Johnson. This is a dangerous team. Big Ben can't get the ball down the field like he used to, but here's the thing. If you kill this Bears team like every team has, including San Francisco last week, we are just going to run it down their throats, and then when you get to the red zone, you're going to take on that bad secondary. This is going to be the exact game we think it's going to be. Now, the real question becomes, what are we looking for in this game? Are you looking for the Bears to try to check on defense what they do against Najee Harris? Are you looking for some type of growth from that secondary? Or is it just simply, can Justin Fields look good in a situation that looks so bad? I don't know what hopes there are, but you have a Pittsburgh team too that's 4-3 and needs a win after Baltimore beats Minnesota. And the most shocking thing, and I shouldn't even say shocking, the most disappointing thing about all this, but it's very typical Chicago Bears. You have the Packers right now who are struggling with the entire Aaron Rodgers situation, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Obviously, the Minnesota Vikings lose a game, and the Detroit Lions are still the Detroit Lions. You have a chance to actually do something, to put yourself in a position, and we can't trust them even against a banged-up Pittsburgh team.
Exactly, and if you look
the good
at
teams find ways to win these games.
Paulie?
Oh, I was just saying the good teams find ways to win these games. I mean, who cares if it's on the road and against a team like the Steelers that have a good quarterback? They're banged up too. And if the Bears are going to prove themselves worthy enough to be in the playoff conversation, they've got to be able to steal this one, especially under the bright lights of Monday Night Football.
Dev?
Especially, but looking at the Steelers' record this entire season, look at all these games. They didn't have any blowouts. Even their losses were all very close. And if the Bears can't produce on offense, it doesn't matter what that defense does, which I've been saying for years. You can blame Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky. They don't play defense. They're not giving up, 20, 30 points a game.
Marver, where are you at with this Bears defense? A lot of the money is on this team when it comes to that part of this organization. Sure. What are you thinking on Monday Night Football? How important is the defense going to have to be? And where are you at with the Justin Fields watch?
I think that the only way they win is in a lower scoring game, honestly. The defense has to carry the day. And the running attack has been pretty good for the Bears. I mean, no matter who they've had there. But I think the Pittsburgh looks pretty good against the run generally. So Fields is going to have to air it out a bit. As I've said repeatedly, I wish they could be more creative. I'm not saying wildcat, use the tight end maybe more, draw plays. I mean, I haven't seen any of those kinds, that creativity, using Fields' legs even a little bit more. I mean, most of the time when he's using his legs, he's scrambling for his life. So I'd like to see some more creativity offensively. Defensively, they're fine. If they win this game, it will be because of their defense in a lower scoring game.
Paulie, let me ask you something about Justin Fields, and this is something that you brought up a few weeks back after the Raiders game, where is the growth of Justin Fields? Knowing where we're at in this point of the season, where it's going to be at Monday Night Football, what are you looking for from an outsider as an objective viewer of what Justin Fields' growth might be in a Bears uniform? What are you looking for at Week 9 with the brightest of lights against two of the biggest organizations in the entire league going at it? What are you looking for when it comes to a checklist, a report card that you're looking to talk about on Tuesday about Justin Fields' performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, I think we saw the training wheels come off last week against the 49ers. Despite the fact that it was a loss, we saw Fields create those second chance opportunities, gain over 100 yards rushing himself, getting a touchdown with his wheels. This is a team in the Steelers that was really good at intercepting the ball last year on defense, but this year has struggled in that regard. So as long as Fields cannot make those mistakes of giving them the ball in the air, I think he can open up the field with his legs. He can open up the field in the backfield as long as his offensive line is giving him some time. I think that this is a team in the Steelers that the Bears don't really have to fear here. I think, the Steelers of the past are long gone. You guys have mentioned already they're a banged up team, and they're struggling really to create turnovers on defense. So as long as Fields is protecting the football like he did the last couple of weeks, or at least last week against the 49ers, I really do see him having some growth and being able to make that next leap, or at least build on what he did last week.
Devin, are you worried about this? And Paulie put it just on a platter for us of, we know what we're looking for at this point, but knowing that Matt Nagy is now back and what this game is, we know your feelings about the coaching staff and the front office. We know that you don't believe in this defense. What are you looking for in a Justin Fields game on Monday Night Football?
What am I looking for in Justin Fields? I'm not wearing my Fire Everybody t-shirt, Mercado. It's, that's safe for tomorrow. But again, Justin Fields, in my opinion, he's a rookie quarterback who's growing, and he's doing just fine. He's on the route, but the Bears are not giving him the tools to produce. He, as Marver has said, and Paul even said, it's like, if you let this kid run, just, I keep saying, let Justin be Justin, and I think he'll be fine. You got to let him grow. But again, what have I said since week, the first week he started, week 2 or 3, where I'm like, the Bears offense is Swiss cheese. If you can't, you can protect the quarterback, the football, but if you can't protect the quarterback, you're not going to get anywhere. And that is just my biggest gripe. This offensive line has been garbage since, as long, even the Rex Grossman era, as far back as I can remember. And I'm just, again, the Steelers team, are they a team of the past? Right now, if they lose tomorrow, they're in a 3-way tie for second place and a 3-way tie for last place. So this AFC North is crazy. But I'm just, right now, again, I have no hope for this team. If they lose to the Steelers, I won't be surprised, even though this is not the Steelers from the past, that for 3 Super Bowls in the past 15 years or something like that, I believe.
I want to ask you guys this, and I'm glad you brought this up about organizational, foundation and stability. And Marver, I'll toss it to you about this. You and I have talked about it during a lot of Bears postgame this season here on the Sports Cubicle on WCPT 820 AM, where facts matter. We appreciate you guys joining us. Dan, Marver, Paul Chivari, Devin Tingle, and myself, Mike Mercado, are getting you ready for Bears versus Steelers on Monday Night Football. We know that stability means a lot, and the Bears are on a losing streak, and we saw what happened last year, and it's one of the most frustrating thing where they're trying to make, chicken salad out of chicken bleep, keeping it classy here on the Sports Cubicle, because they're going to lose another game, and they're going to try to sell this to the fan base on how it's okay. It's a growing thing. Marver, where are you if this team has this continued losing streak, and what does this do, in your opinion, for the front office and coaching staff?
Well, my viewing party last week said the loss to Frisco was they ended their playoff chances looking at the future schedule. I mean,
Right.
Baltimore would be their next opponent at home, but be that as it may, it's a good growing experience for Fields. I think he's progressing. It's just that they don't seem to have the tools necessary to be a winning team with the offensive line problems. I mean, they've decimated the running backs. They've had 4 different starting running backs in the last few weeks. So there's been that too, but it doesn't seem like they have the tools necessary. Now, I mean, they're not going to pull a Jeremy Cullen. What day was what day and month was Nagy hired? Maybe we can do the same thing and get rid of him on the same day he was hired.
Paulie, where are you at?
Unfortunately, that'll be the off season.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we know that's what the Bears do, but Paulie, if the Bears will wait to the offseason to make a move, because that's what this organization's done. But if the Bears lose this game, they continue this losing streak, and we hear the same old nonsense coming from Hallis Hall, do you think it's already done? Do you think the nail has already been nailed onto the coffin, or is there any wiggle room? Where do you think a loss to Pittsburgh and this losing streak they've had since the Tampa Bay game, what do you think it does for this front office and coaching staff? And then, Devin, when you get a chance, I want you to then, after Paulie answers this, to really get yourself ready to do what you do best and get ready to fire this whole front office. Paulie, where are you at if they lose?
Well, if it's a total train wreck, I think that's the only thing that's going to move the needle even further in the fire Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace camp. I really do think that the Bears front office has made up their minds about these two guys. They could still try to save their jobs. A win tomorrow would be pushing it back in the other direction. But I mean, I think no matter what happens in Pittsburgh, I think the decision is made on the end of the season. And I could be wrong, but I've just heard the rumors swirling that these guys aren't long for Hallis Hall, maybe more so Nagy than Pace, but either way, Nagy is Pace's guy. Pace has been there long enough where you can point to some success with some of the moves he's made in the 2 playoff appearances. But, this team is a total mess right now, heading into a season where they should be one of the more dominant teams in the NFC North, or at least the NFC, and it's just not there. So I think aside from a national embarrassment, I think it doesn't really change much for the Bears.
Dev, they lose this game. What happens?
Okay, let's just go back in time. January 8th, 2018, Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are both brought in as Chicago Bears head coach and Chicago Bears general manager. We go back here. They just get rid of Jay Cutler. Fans are rejoicing. We're going to get a new quarterback. We get Mike Glennon. We trade up for Mitchell Trubisky. And then we sign Nick Foles. And he does nothing. We can't even trade Nick Foles. We are doomed. By the miracle of God, we are able to sign Andy Dalton. And then we end up getting Justin Fields in the draft. Holy crapola. Let's take a look at all that talent. Mike Glennon, forget about him. Mitch Trubisky, the Washington football team's trying to trade for him. So he must be doing something right in Buffalo as a freaking backup who hasn't even started a game yet. Matt Nagy has a record 28-20 of the Chicago Bears. That's a winning record. Why am I so furious? Because Nick Foles said winning ugly is better than losing pretty. When have the Bears ever lost pretty with Matt Nagy? I have not seen a pretty loss. I have never seen a loss to be like, oh, well, other than that Lions, not the Lions. I'm blanking. There was one that lost this week. I'm like, oh, it was a decent loss. But again, and Matt Nagy just doesn't seem to care. It's like, well, we lost. We're gonna watch the tape. We're going to get better. I know the team's bad, so we're going to have practice and watch the tape. And, I'm going to make the same plays next week because that works. Again, though, Matt Nagy has been proved he's been figured out in this league. His first season in 2018 was great because it was something different. But they figured him out, and he's done. Ryan Pace, and let's take a look at every friggin' draft pick. This team needs defense. This team needs an offensive line. His first ever draft pick is wide receiver Kevin White. Or is it Kevin White or Kyle White?
No, Kevin White.
I don't matter. He didn't play a friggin' game. This team is just wasting opportunities and wasting chances. Like, if our boss here at WCPT is like, you know what? I'm going to hire someone who does a show about gardening to take over for Joan Esposito. And the gardening show doesn't work. They're like, fine. I'm going to bring someone who talks about painting sea boats in a bottle. He should be fired for putting on bad talent. But our boss doesn't get fired because he brings on good hosts like Joan Esposito, Patty Vasquez, Santita Jackson. You can listen to all of them Monday through Friday.
And Devin Tingle.
Yes, WCPT runs better than the Chicago Bears. I love WCPT, but the Chicago Bears have been around for over 100 years now. How in 100 years do you not get this right for CPT, who's been around for, I think, maybe 10, 15 years? Like, I don't get it, guys. And that's the thing. Every season they get, last year especially, they got by into the playoffs on a effing fluke with an 8-8 record, lost to the Saints. But don't worry, Mitch Trubisky got Nickelodeon's most valuable player, so that's something special. Put that slime in your bucket. And that's just it here. Again, end of the season, Matt Nagy needs to go, and Ryan Pace needs to pack Matt Nagy's bags and walk out with him.
Devin, ladies and gentlemen of the Sports Cubicle, we got Bears versus Steelers on Monday Night Football. Boys, let's go around and make some predictions here on the Sports Cubicle. A very rare, treat for the audience and for us to be able to actually make a prediction before a Bears game. So we'll go around the table. We'll go around the office. We'll be down here in the basement making our predictions. We'll start off with Devin. We'll go to Marver, head over to Paul, and finish with myself. Devin, what happens in the Pittsburgh Steelers Chicago Bears matchup in Monday Night Football?
Right, Marver, take that bucket of cold water and just throw it on me really quick. I need to cool down.
There it is.
Are you going to go first?
Thank you. I do not have hope. I see this being maybe 24-17 Pittsburgh Steelers and just a very average game. I don't see either team shining. I don't really see either team just failing. It's just going to be a meh Monday Night Football game that people are like, we're actually watching this. Like, I'm stoked for Monday Night Football. It's the Bears versus Steelers. Oh,
Marver, what do you got?
I agree totally, except I don't think the Bears will hold them to a field goal in the red zone, 28-17. And it could be worse. You could be a fan of the Detroit Lions.
Oh, Paulie?
TJ Watt will force a fumble in overtime that gives the Steelers the advantage to score the game-winning touchdown, 30-24.
That's very accurate, Paul.
Yeah, I got it. 24-13 Steelers. I think this is going to be a long game. I think this is going to be a very black and blue bruising type of game. It's going to be a lot of fun to see all the nonsense that happens. We're going to definitely have our eagle eyes and what we see when it comes to play calling. And I don't know about you guys, but nationally, I think it's going to be very fun on Tuesday because obviously on Sunday night, we're all going to be talking about all the games that happen in Week 9. But come Tuesday, it's only going to be about Pittsburgh and Chicago dissecting that game. So I am fascinated to see how the national media looks at Justin Fields, looks at Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, and what's going to be the outcome of this Ben Roethlisberger game at Pittsburgh as the Bears take on the Steelers. Those are our predictions. Unfortunately, we are all going with the Steelers, but we will be here next week. If the Bears pull off an upset, they will have a bye week, so we get to concentrate on the entire National Football League and talk about the entire landscape. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Let us know, who do you have on Monday Night Football between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chicago Bears?